Greetings, dear chess fans and experts. This is FIDE Master Max Omariev with you. And now we'll look at the scandalous game between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Wesley So, which was played at the Fischer Random World Championship. The then reigning World Fischer Random Chess Champion, Wesley So, simply didn't know the rules of the game in which he is the world champion. Let's take a look at what happened between them. In 2019, Wesley So destroyed Magnus Carlsen in the finals of the Fischer Random World Championship, and he's been the world champion ever since. And now his hour has come to defend the title. The 2022 World Championship was held according to an unusual system. 4 chess players were invited and 4 were qualified. They invited, of course, the then reigning champion Wesley So, Magnus Carlsen as a runner-up of the last championship, Jan Nepomniachtchi because he's a challenger for the title of world champion, and also the rather strange invitation of Hjörvar Steingrétarsson from the Icelandic Chess Federation. I don't know who he is at all, to be honest, but they invited him too. And Vladimir Fesoyev, Matthias Blubom, Hikaru Nakamura, and Noderbek Abdusatorov were qualified. As a result, according to the format of the tournament, they play the qualifying stage, from which 4 players get to the semifinals and then the final game. And so in the group stage, Jan Nepomniachtchi and Wesley So had a game. Let's see how good the world champion is at Fischer chess. c4, b5. The first move is already quite questionable, because it allows Jan to capture space. c5 follows. e5 is a way to activate the bishop, but at the same time, the pawn is a target for white. b4 is played, the pawn's attacked. Black has to play d6. You can already see that black has a bit of a disharmonious placing of pieces. The d6 move doesn't help to develop. Knights here bump up against this pawn. The c5 pawn restricts them. All in all, black already has a hard position, and it's only been a few moves. Bishop b3. White wants to capture that f7 pawn. This move may not be the most accurate, but it's okay. a5. An attempt to capture space here. a3. Of course, you cannot give up the bridger head on the c5 square. Bishop f6. This is also not the smartest solution. It would have been better to develop the knight to f6. In general, the d8 bishop has an almost same position as it would stand on f6. It has a foolish position either here or there. But nevertheless, he played bishop f6, decided to strengthen the e5 pawn once more. e3 is played. White prepares to play d4, the e2 square for the knight, but there's another idea you'll see soon. Knight e7 and f4. Nepo opens up the f-file. The rook is already loaded, it's in play. And in general, we can see that white has an overwhelming advantage. e4, an attempt to close the position so that the f-file doesn't get attacked. White has all their pieces ready. The bishop, rook. White is also ready to castle. Connect the second rook quickly. In general, the position is unpleasant. So e4, exchange on d6. Knight e2, Nepo activates his pieces. Captured, captured. Knight f6. It seems the black is more or less alright. The only thing is that the bishop is blocked by the pawn, and there's a weakness. Well, so far the position is strong. Knight c2, rook c8, knight d4, exchange, and bishop d5. This move is a bit weird. Still, this flank is underdeveloped, so he had to castle urgently. In Fischer chess, castling looks like this. The rook is just moved to f8 and the king to g8, but since the king is already initially on g8, he doesn't move at all. It's precisely this tricky moment that makes us watch this game. Well, you'll see in a moment. Bishop d5, bishop d5, knight d5, bishop to f5, watches over the d6 pawn. Also, white wants to fork here. Rook c2, invasion on the second rank, the pawn's attacked. Knight g3, Jan is ready to give this pawn away, but in return he has his own intentions, his own goals. For example, if black takes this pawn, then white just takes e4, and if black takes this knight, he gets mate on the g7 square. That's why Wesley So plays queen c8, attacking the knight. So knight e4 doesn't work because of queen takes f5, but knight takes d6 is played. Nepo takes the pawn, and here the then reigning world champion had to come to his senses and play either queen c6, as Wesley himself said in his interview after the game, or queen d8. Carefully move back so he could attack the knight and cover the a8 square. But Wesley plays e6 and gets queen a8 check. This ended the game, but in fact, Wesley So made one more move, although he was not allowed to make this move. In this position, he moved the rook to f8 and just kind of castled. Then Jan was indignant and called the referee. He was like, "What are you doing, Wesley? I gave check." But according to the rules of chess, you can't castle when the king is in check. That's the basic rule. But Wesley decided that, as the king was already in its original position, he could castle. Funny circumstances, of course. But let's hear what the chess players themselves had to say about this incident.
He really relies on the move like short castle after queen a8 check, so because you like both protect your king from the check and your castle. But I mean, as far as I know, in any chess rules, like since there was like 5 or something, yeah, you can't castle earlier on the check. Yeah, so that's. I mean, hopefully it applies to the Fischer Random, because I mean, otherwise the evaluation changes from like probably winning to losing, and vice versa. Yeah, but yeah, I think this has no sense if you can castle under check. Yeah.
And it never happened to me before, but I just assume you can block with the rook. I think some other players thought the same. I think Magnus thought the same. But apparently you can't do it because my king hasn't moved yet, so I thought I could just block it. But it's unchecked, so clearly I just never really bothered to read Fischer Random rules before in the past. I just play by feeling, and clearly I don't know much about it.
So yeah, as you just heard, the then reigning World Fischer Random Chess Champion said he had never once read the rules of the game. That's an interesting fact. But there aren't really any special rules, except what you need to know about castling, but the basic principles are the same as in classic chess. You can't castle when the king is in check. Also, you can't castle across a check. These are all the classic principles that work here. So I hope that before the next match, Wesley So will read these rules a little better. Moreover, I'm sure the rules fit on 2 sheets of PDF. No more than that. But laziness cost him this game. There were other interesting games in the tournament, which I think I'll also analyze for you, so subscribe to the channel not to miss anything. And thank you for your attention. Hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to turn on the notifications. Also, check out our Telegram channel, where we post only the latest news in the world of chess. Keep playing and studying chess, and I'll see you very soon.